Just because you're quiet doesn't mean you can't also be powerful. Join award-winning authors, activists, and confirmed introverts Lisa Hurley and Sharon Hurley Hall as they explore introversion, workplace culture, self-care, and much more. Each episode of the Introvert Sisters Live, which is the evolution of their original Anthem Award-winning podcast, blends thoughtful conversation, insightful analysis, and practical strategies through an intersectional lens. Created especially for those quiet souls who are so often overlooked and underestimated, the Introvert Sisters Live provides a serene space where neurodivergence is normalized, nuance is celebrated, depth is welcome, and introversion is honored as a strength. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Introvert Sisters Live. This is our, count 'em, second episode. And so we're back. We're 2 episodes in. It feels wonderful to be back. And we just want to thank everybody that tuned in for our inaugural relaunch episode last week. Not last week, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And
Yeah.
can you tell I am mathematically challenged, by the way? Just calculate for the win. But yes, so 2 weeks ago, we did our launch episode of the Introvert Sisters Live. The show is every 2 weeks, right, Sharon?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
On Fridays. And so, yeah, here we are again, and we're happy to be back with you. And thanks so much for joining us.
Ooh. Welcome, Ray, Laverne, Linda. Happy that you are in the house.
Yay.
We are so delighted to be here. And Sis, let's kick things off.
Yes.
Why do you think this conversation matters so much right now? Especially for introverts. Especially for introverts,
because today we're talking about rest. Resting is not the same as laziness. Needing rest is not the same as being lazy. It really is not. And people tend to conflate the two. And especially for introverts, and especially for Black female introverts right now, it's an important topic because so much is demanded of us daily, and it just becomes too much, and we tend to have less capacity than our neuronormative buddies and sisters and brothers. And so resting is an important part of us just being able to show up in our fullness and manage ourselves, manage our lives, contribute to society in a healthy and positive way. And so resting is part of living a balanced, healthy life. And it is exponentially more important if you're introverted, where introverts tend to have low battery capacity, shall I say, or batteries. right, sis? I mean, I don't know how you think about it.
I sometimes think of it as batteries barely included.
Right? You know when you order some of these, I don't know, like an electric shaver or something like that.
Yes.
You have to charge the battery before you use it, right?
That is introvert life.
That is
Recharge before using. Recharge before peopling. Recharge before working. Recharge before everything.
Right. Recharge. And that's it.
And then after.
And after.
Yeah. And after. So let's talk a little bit more about this idea that rest is not laziness. Mm-hmm. So when you hear that, actually, let me jump in first. Because lazy, as you know, has a particular connotation, and it is particularly resonant and not in a good way for those of us of a darker hue, because our rest is so often pathologized as laziness. Yes. You know, there's a meme that goes around from time to time showing enslaved Black people picking cotton in the American South, and it says, we only became lazy when we stopped working for free.
That's it. That's it.
Right.
Because realistically, how can you with a straight face call people lazy who are working out in the fields, right? They're working out in
Yeah.
the fields in the hot sun, from sunup, well, before sunup to after
Hmm.
sundown. They are trying to take care of their families that have, often been split apart, but, side note. Then
Hmm.
they're taking care of their own families. They're taking care of the families in the plantation houses. They're taking care of their own babies, that the ones that they're allowed to keep. They're taking care of masses babies. They take right. They're taking care of often children who are born of products of rape. It must be said.
Hmm. It must be said.
Must be said, they're doing all of these things without being paid, without reward, under the glare and heat of the sun, under the wit
And the glare and heat of the white gaze, let's not forget.
glare and heat of the
Right.
white gaze and the overseer.
Yeah.
And fast forward to now, I mean, there's still a lot of white overseers on corporate plantations, right? And we're still
Yes.
working hard. Many of us are still underpaid, and we overperform. We're overqualified. We overperform at every level, and yet we're still called lazy. If at any point we say, "Hey, XYZ, this situation is not fair," or we
Yeah.
are not being treated equitably, or whatever it happens to be, then all of a sudden it's a problem, or we're called lazy.
Yes.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. Absolutely not.
And there's a lot of shame, and also there's a lot of self shame as well,
Hmm.
because a lot of us have internalized that message. Sometimes we feel like if we're not working all out and running on fumes, then we're quote unquote lazy, and we definitely are not. We definitely are not.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, that phrase "rest is not laziness." Yeah, I think it's an important discussion to have. And so, what comes up for you, and why do you think people question their need for rest?
I think that societally, especially now in the age that we're in, where one can, technically speaking, be available at all times, right? With cell phones and computers and TVs and all this, all the electronic stuff.
Hmm.
So there is the option and the possibility of being constantly available 24/7.
Oh, it's so
And
exhausting.
it's exhausting. And so there are companies, for example, that expect their employees to be constantly available. There are bosses who will email their employees at midnight and expect a response, and the employees will be retaliated again against if they don't respond in a timely fashion at midnight, even though that is outside of working hours, right?
Yeah, as you say that, sis, let me interrupt for a minute just to say that I think in this case the French have it right, right?
Yes.
I believe it's actually illegal to contact people about work out of work hours.
Oh, absolutely. 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 Can I just say, like, I don't consider myself a Bible thumper, but one way in which the Bible works for me is, there is a day of rest, right? On the seventh day, right? On the seventh day, God, if you believe in him, right? God rested, right? But on a serious note, so God rested. It is a part of the cycle of life, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't want to look at it through a biblical lens, look at it through the lens of nature.
Mhm.
Nature and the seasons. There is
Past
a
cycles.
cycles. There's a resting season. There's a hibernation season. There's a season where everything on the earth goes. I don't know if fallow is the right word because my
Yes,
vocabulary.
I think fallow is the right word.
Right. And so there's a season of where of fallowness, and then comes the spring. But rest has to precede the spring, right?
Yes,
That's how it works.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, I think this is a good moment to just go to the comments and see what people are saying. We're happy to see everyone. LinkedIn user, we're not sure who you are, but we're happy you're here. Um, Evan says, good vibes every time. Thank you, Evan. Evan is really like one of our OG supporters of the Introvert Sisters,
Yes.
as is Linda. Yes, who are really the lazy ones? Working for other people who are really the lazy ones. This question actually occurs to me every single time I think
Mm-hmm.
about this. So, yeah, really good point. Laverne, yes, rest is resistance, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray is saying, yes, this is so true. It accounts for so many of us having long term health issues as a result.
Yeah.
Because, yes, we are not meant to be running on fumes. We are not meant to be working to exhaustion and depletion. And that goes even more for those of us who need that extra recharge time, our introverted siblings, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we
We
we have
need to honor that.
we do, and we have Trisha Hersey to thank for that phrase "rest is resistance." I
We
believe
do.
it's the is the title of her first book. I'm not sure if I'm
Yes.
correct on that, but it definitely is a phrase that she uses, and it's become a part of everyday parlance. And why I really love that she put those two words together, rest and resistance, is because what we're resisting is overextension, overcommitment. We're resisting unreasonable demands on our time and our energy. We're resisting the need and sometimes the self-imposed desire to think of ourselves as a product, right?
Yes. Yes.
As a
Yes.
product and as a it's almost like we think of ourselves as an item that is useless unless we are working. And
Oh
that
my
is
gosh.
dangerous. Yeah, that is dangerous to
So
our
we
own.
have, before we move on
Mhm.
to talking about some of the ways we get drained,
Yeah.
let me just want to share a couple of final comments. Linda says you can reach out to me anytime, but it's when you start demanding the timeline of when I respond, that is when I have a problem. Blame it
Yeah.
on my Black Moon Lilith placement, but nothing makes me more uncooperative than trying to dictate how I must behave.
Same.
Ray, yes, Ray says many of us only rest when we wind up in the hospital, right?
That's true. That's true.
Okay, Linda, thank you for sharing. Rest is Resistance. This is where you can get Krista Hersey's phenomenal book.
Hmm.
I listened to the audiobook last year and it was just, yeah, a
I've
message
read
we
it more
all
than
need.
once. Yeah, I've read it more
Yes,
than once.
yes.
It's so good, and I like that it is. It almost. I'm trying to explain the tone of it because some of it is nurturing, but some of
And
it
some of it is very combative as well. Oh my gosh.
is. It is. You
You
feel.
get the rest and you get the resistance. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
Anyway,
Moving on.
let us keep going. Let
Yes.
us think a little bit about some of the ways in which we as introverts and other people
Hmm.
drain our energy. So I'm going to kick this section off and then you can come in. Listen, group chats. Group chats. Group chats can be extremely draining. One of the first things I do when I join a group chat is put it on mute. So
Put it on mute.
I choose when to check in, and I'm
Hmm.
not bombarded with constant notifications. I also do that. You know, all group chats have their social side, right? So people are saying, happy Mother's Day, happy this day, happy birthday. I will give my greetings if it's that kind of group, and then I'll put it on mute for 8 hours. Right? I'm serious.
Girl, I join, and I put it on mute permanently. It's bad. It's bad. Not all of
Right.
them, but a lot of them. I put them on mute because
Yes.
the constant notifications, it just drains me. And then it like my system is already on high alert, right?
Yes.
And so I don't need anything else making me feel like there's an emergency happening, something that I
Yes,
need to.
digital overload is a no-no for
Yeah.
introverts, I think. I think also
Hmm.
over explaining, and also having to explain and justify your very presence and the way that you show up,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? The fact, and the question that we've dealt with before, why aren't you more outgoing? Why are you so quiet? Why are you so this? Why aren't you not enough that? It's like, no, 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 no. That is
Mhm.
absolutely draining.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, as we move through the day and we're doing all of these things, we're leaking energy. Do you want to
Yes.
take a couple more, sis? What else?
Absolutely. A big one is emotional labor, like the unpaid, emotional, invisible labor that usually falls not solely to women, but it usually falls to women. And
Mhm.
then if you look at it in terms of the office, you're talking about, people who are women planning meetings, um, getting the coffee, even though they're not the person who's supposed to get the coffee. But side note, um, all of the right the emotional caretaking, making sure everybody is okay, doing sort of all of the unseen tasks that can help a team perform better and more smoothly. But first of all, there's no thanks, there's no compensation, and there's no promotability coming from any of those. In terms of home life, we're talking about planning shopping for the groceries, taking care of the calendar, making sure, let's say, the children have clothes at all, far less, the right size clothing, the right size shoes, um,
Mhm.
purchasing gifts, making sure the person to whom you are married, if you're in a heterosexual relationship, let's say, the person to whom you're married, making sure that their mother has a gift. Right? I mean,
Yes, 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 yes.
I want to
So
explain.
often, so often there's one person in the relationship who is doing all of that for
All of
the
it.
entire relationship, right?
Yes.
All of that. And can I
Oh,
just go on to say,
yes.
being the reliable one, the one that people count on, the
Yes.
one that people want to do everything. They want to, they want you to take care of anything. They want to hear you want to hear everything. They want you to help solve everything.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's not, it's internal work sometimes. It's not even necessarily always about you being out there and doing. It's about the amount of thinking that you have to do to look
Yes.
after other people, right?
Yes. 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 It is
Yes.
and it is the amount of time and energy that it takes to consider others,
Mm.
to
Mm,
consider
mm,
others, to take other people into consideration, hold them in your thoughts, wonder, how is this action, how is this going to impact this person or these people? How can I make it impact them less? How can I lift some weight off of them, even though no one is thinking that about you because you're the
yes. I
dependent one?
mean,
Yeah.
and let's be clear. I mean, in some ways, you know, that plays to some of our strengths. We are good listeners, we are deep thinkers, we are good problem solvers.
And good
But the
planners.
point is, and good planners, but the point is that we should not always be expected to do it and carry
Yeah.
that weight for
Yes.
other people.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to break our own rule just a minute and show, right. Linda says the good listener trap. Just because I'm an introvert doesn't mean I'm always here to listen to everyone's issues and resolve them for them.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Because and I just want to remind people, this applies to, shall we say, the general population, the population at large. What we are
Mhm.
saying is that because introverts automatically start with less capacity, um,
They get more drained. We.
they get more drained. We get more drained. We are
Yes.
starting with less capacity, and if we have not, as we, back to the shaver that you buy, that you're supposed to charge before and then charge after.
Yes.
If you're already tired and you have not charged beforehand and you haven't been able to
Hmm.
rest and charge after, then you are
Hmm.
constantly operating at a deficit and getting more and more and more exhausted. So these things that
Absolutely.
that would tire anyone out are exhausting you even more than someone who is not introverted, than someone who is not, in my case, not autistic, does not have ADHD, is not a highly sensitive person. All of those sort of align together and interact and basically make it hard for you to have high capacity.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to talk in a little bit about boundaries, but before we do, let me just bring up a couple of relevant comments. Thank you for sharing this, an article relevant to this space called "Before We Were Allowed to Be We Were Taught to Be Useful Before We Were Allowed to Be Human" by Delicia Tapscott. Must read. We have a couple of people, hello, mommy, saying that group chats can be exhausting. There's someone else saying group chats are terrible. Um, and Linda, as always, with the pithy wisdom, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And Evan is saying, I can listen to introverts all day, but will tune out other extroverts. The introverts are much more meaningful and insightful. Engaging and meaningful. Sorry, let me quote accurately. So let us talk a little bit about boundaries. Oh, wait. I've missed a couple of comments. Evan, we are not capitalists. Our bosses are the capitalists. We are just the workers. Deep.
Very true. Very true.
Very true. All right. So let us talk about boundaries. Over to
Mhm.
you, sis.
I love this one. Over to you. Because the thing is, for those of you who are new to me and Sharon and the Introvert Sisters, and to us, together and separately, I talk about boundaries all the time because they are so vital to self-care, to preserving your peace, preserving your energy, and helping you, frankly, to be able to rest, right? If you don't have strong boundaries, that's where some of the energy leaks that we were talking about become even more dangerous to your health. So, having boundaries can look absolutely like muting the group chat. Something as simple as that is a boundary. Something as simple as yes, deciding not to answer your boss when they email you at midnight is absolutely a boundary. Or in my case, like I have a hard cutoff for the most part. I have a hard cutoff at 5 p.m. on the nose. I was not always this person. Let me just say, this boundary developed over time after I realized I was being taken advantage of, and yeah, and getting tired. And so I realized, who is it benefiting when I make myself available until 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night? It's not benefiting me. And so I developed a boundary where no, my it is 9 to 5. Well, then it is 9 to 5. Period.
And can I just jump in to say that this
Yeah.
often requires us to train ourselves,
Yes.
not just the people we're engaging with, but to
Mhm,
train ourselves. Because I got to that point as well. Certain
mhm.
things would come in after a point, and my I handled it in two ways. Because being the person that I am, I looked right. Being the person that I am, I looked. I'm not gonna lie, I looked
Yes.
right.
Yes.
But then, you know, if I immediately had a response, I would schedule it to go out at 9 the next morning. I wouldn't send it immediately.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or in some other cases, I would see where the email had come from and realize that I didn't need to look at it until the next day.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It was just, you have to, yeah, but you have to train yourself and you have to train the people that you work with. If you let people see you as always available, they will continue to ask more and more of you until you are absolutely depleted.
Yeah.
And so, and
Because people
those
people
people,
will.
yeah, many of the people that are calling on you for all these things are not giving that to other people who are calling on them.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're taking advantage of who they think they can take advantage of. This also ties into race. Often in the workplace, the Black person is the only person, and
Mhm.
is shall we say, low on the totem pole, for lack of a better term. I think I will know. Actually, I think that's not a term I should use, right, anymore.
No, 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 no.
Isn't so? I apologize for using that term, but is low in the hierarchy, and
Mhm.
therefore is seen as vulnerable and as someone that can be taken advantage of. And so
Exploited.
people do. People exploit when they can, right?
Listen, American history, colonial history, world history has taught people racialized as white that it is okay to exploit people
Yes,
racialized as black, people who are
absolutely.
indigenous, people who are Latina, all
Mhm.
anybody, black and brown people generally,
Yeah.
right? It is okay to exploit people in who fall into those categories. It is okay to exterminate them. It is okay to start on illegal wars. Right. It is okay to do all of those
Oh,
things.
oh, oh, we
Right?
going there, are we?
Quiet minds, loud opinions. But anyway, point
I
being,
love how you
point
just dropped
being,
that one in casually.
point being that this is centuries of that kind of conditioning,
Mhm.
and you have to be willing to unlearn it. You have to be willing to do differently. And we have to be willing to stand up for ourselves and say, no, this is not okay. Now, I'm going to be real. As Lisa said just now, I was not always like this. I did not always, there's something about being in this particular season of my life that makes it easier for me to do that. When I was in my first job at the age of 22, although I had my moments, generally speaking, I just went along with whatever was supposed to be done. I had my moments. Nearly lost my job because of one of them, but that's another story. Um, but yeah, but the thing that I want people to realize is you're not serving anyone by allowing others to exhaust and deplete you,
Mm,
right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
remember that when you are the only black person in the office and somebody comes, because it's like often a one in, one out thing, and the next person comes, remember that how you're letting people treat you is how they will think they can treat the next person too,
Yes, yes. So
right?
do it for yourself and for the people who are coming behind you. For sure, for sure. And one thing I want to reiterate, or maybe iterate. I'm not sure if I've said it yet, but rest requires decision making and planning. You have to make a decision. Boundaries require decision making and planning. You have to make a decision, right? It's not just going to happen out of thin air. If you decide, hopefully when you decide that rest is a priority for you, then you have to put boundaries and systems in place and take actions to make sure that your life then begins to reflect the decision that you have made. And
Absolutely.
it has to start with you, because nobody else out there, for the most part, right? Nobody else out there cares whether you're getting rest or not. For me in my life, my family cares, my friends care, my therapist cares. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, nobody cares. So
I'm just
you have to make it a priority for yourself.
I'm just putting up Linda's comment, exploit and extract is a supremacist way.
That's true.
And Linda has also shared Nedra Tawab's book, Set Boundaries, Find Peace.
Hmm.
Uh, we have also Daniel, rest is not laziness is a foundational truth. As a systems architect, I know that even the most powerful servers need downtime for the internet to prevent a system crash. Rest isn't doing nothing, it's recharging the human firewall. Thank you for that
Love
phrase, Daniel. All right. Well, folks, as always, we have talked up a storm and we still have a couple of things. So hope you'll stick with us for um, a couple more minutes. Let me just whiz through. Let me just whiz through. We need to schedule recovery, right?
Yes,
We
yes.
need to set those boundaries Lisa was talking about for response time, limit digital input that we don't need, build in that quiet. You want to add a couple more, sis? And then let us go on to our quiet minds, loud opinions section to round this out.
I think I think you covered most of it. The other thing I would say is just let rest be regular. Don't let it get to the point where it's an emergency. Don't wait until you're completely burned out to rest. Do it, take it like daily vitamins, an apple a day. Let that be how you treat rest. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. All right. So our tagline is Quiet Minds, Loud Opinions. And when Lisa and I were discussing this pre-show, we both agreed that the question of the day is, are we still boycotting Target? To which the answer is, yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we have very loud opinions on this because, okay, so a little bit of the backdrop is very recently I was surprised because I was scrolling social media and I saw something about the Target boycott is over. I was like, it is? Do you just like end a boycott randomly? As it turns out, so the backstory is that Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant, he, I guess within his church, I'm not totally sure. Please do some Googling, but we have like 2 seconds to explain this. So Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant declared that the Target fast is over. I had not been aware that there was a Target fast, but oh well, right? Of course, how that was received by most people was that he was declaring that the Target boycott was over. So there's been a lot of furor publicly and so on. And I thought it was kind of dangerous and irresponsible, frankly, of him to say that. That is only my opinion. I guess he had his reasons for doing so, right? However, Sharon, you can take this part. The women, shall I say, who started the boycott have other opinions. Over to you, sis.
Yes, they have spoken. They said, this is Nakima Levy Armstrong, Jelani Hussein, and Monique Colors Doty, the original founders of the Target boycott, say the boycott continues. The boycott was about them cutting DEI, and they have not reinstated it, right? And so, therefore, thank you, Denise. Thank you, Sharon. They have not reinstated it. I mean, obviously, the Target people wanted to be over, so they found somebody from the Black community to say it was over. But there were two separate campaigns, which I had not realized. There was a Target fast led by this church, apparently, and there was the Target boycott that we're all aware of, started by these three women. And you know, I don't know what was on Pastor Jamal's mind when he decided to declare it was, but there are two separate things. As if he was the one that started the Target fast, I guess he can end the Target fast. But the boycott still continues because they have not. This is more performative BS. This is more all skin folk ain't kin folk. This is more. This is more. You know, men deciding that they're going to undermine a thing that women did. This is more. I could go on. I could go on,
The,
right?
the,
But I won't because we only have a couple of minutes.
we have a couple of minutes, but the thing is this, right? Is so once again, I'm gonna bring up 40 days and 40 nights, right? That was fasting in the wild,
Mhm,
right? The whole point is,
mhm.
right? Is a fast supposed to bring about change, right?
Yes.
When you fast, you're fasting in order to bring about change. Has it so if he did implement or start a fast, has a change
Mhm,
occurred as a result of the fast? No. That's number one. Number
mhm,
two is I agree with that the boycott continues because the boycott, as you said, the boycott is meant also to bring about a change. That change
mhm,
still has now, it has definitely impacted Target adversely, right?
mhm.
Their stock price is down, sales are down, foot traffic is down. I don't have the percentages. Again,
Yeah.
Google all of that, but it
So
definitely
they
has.
would.
Yeah, they're hurting. They are absolutely hurting, and I think they need to hurt some more because
Yeah.
they try to FA and they FO'd, right? And they need to continue. They need to continue to find
So
out.
clean. So clean. So clean.
They need, well, Mama Bear is Mama Bear is on
In the audience.
the show. Mama Bear is on the show, even though she knows I have a potty mouth, but still, I need to show some. But but yes, so Our loud opinion jointly is that the Target boycott, it needs to continue, and is continuing. It has not ended, and we remain united. We remain focused. I have not stepped foot in a Target since whenever it was announced. Period.
Good for you.
That's that.
Me neither. But then that is fairly easy for me because there's no target where I am.
Yeah,
Yeah, but still,
yeah.
Racist is saying, she does not plan to go back to Target. Thank you, Linda, for sharing the links to the articles for both perspectives, so that I know that will be useful for the team replay folks for sure. So yeah, it continues. It continues.
Hmm.
So yeah.
That's
So
it.
now
Yeah.
that is it. That is it. That is where we're piecing out for today, right? So I hope you enjoyed our perspective on rest is not laziness. I hope you have come up with some ways or thought about some new ways to protect the rest that you need to set those boundaries. And we will be back in a couple of weeks. Thank you to everyone who joined us live. Thank you to all the team replay folks. We appreciate you. See you next time.
Take care, folks. See you next time. And just one final closing thought. Remember that protecting your energy is not selfish, and rest is not something you have to earn. Bye.
Woo.